So I'm writing my first fantasy novel, and y'all, I have no clue what I'm doing. Today, let's talk about the absolute panic that I marinated in for months before sitting down to write my first story with multiple POVs. I've only ever written single POV. My first book was entirely first person, and every subsequent one has been third person but limited to that single POV. One lens, one perspective. And here's the thing, I really think that's appropriate for books like Frostbitten and Extraction. Both are these tight, self-contained narratives in which a key part of what makes them work is the fact that the reader is discovering the horrible, horrible surprises I cooked up right alongside the character. That limited perspective has always been valuable. But when I was planning for Ranger very early on, I realized that wasn't going to work. It was critical that I give the reader a peek into both of these characters' heads. These two are from different worlds. They have different perspectives, different traumas that inform the way that they interpret their interactions with the world. And more importantly, they both have reasons that this relationship is just the worst idea, truly disastrous, an absolute sold-out Broadway shit show. And they both have reasons that despite the fact that hooking up is a terrible idea, they're pretty much doomed to do it anyway when they first lay eyes on each other. Love makes idiots of us all, and that's really good for dramatic purposes. So yes, I knew that dual POV was essential to the way I wanted this story to work, but that did absolutely nothing to make me feel any less terrified at the concept. I got some excellent advice and inspiration that did help quite a bit. My favorite book of 2024, The Funny Girl by Kate Page, is a masterclass in how to demonstrate the way dual POVs allow you to show the way characters experience the same moment while still reacting and interpreting it totally differently. What's more, if you do your job right developing these characters, you get a very clear understanding why each of them react the way they do, and it works. The Funny Girl is kind of magical, and if you're looking for an absolute brilliant study in character work, you cannot do any better. The other really good piece of advice I got was from my developmental editor, C. Taylor. When I expressed my concern that I wouldn't know when to switch from one POV to the next, she told me to just follow the suffering. Figure out who's enduring the most emotional trauma and chaos in any particular scene, and that's your POV. And that actually has helped a huge amount, because I may not know romance, but anyone who's read Frostbitten and Extraction knows that I love beating up on my characters to an extent that should probably be discussed with my therapist. Look, I was terrified to write a dual POV story, but it hasn't been as bad as I thought. With the insight I got from people like Kate and C, it became fairly simple to know when it was time to switch our view of the world from Antoinette to Jaina and back again. And I've been pleasantly surprised at just how natural that it's felt. Those clashing perspectives give a depth to the story I didn't expect, and it has been a lot of fun putting together the bumpy road to these two falling ass over tea kettle for each other. If you know any good single POV romances, please drop them in the chat and keep sending your thoughts. Help a clueless author out, people.